What it do?
What up? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with the legendary group Ruff Endz, and we have David and Dante in the building. How are you guys doing today?
What's up, brother? What's going on with you?
Man, we are blessed, man. How are you?
So, congratulations on the 5th album. So, before we talk about the rebirth, let's talk about the birth of Ruff Endz. So before you signed your deal with Epic in 1999, you two were in a group with 2 other individuals. So explain the transition from being in a group into going a duo.
Got it. Well, actually, we was in several different groups, man. So we were like, the people that I would say our 2 favorite groups at that time was Boyz II Men and Jodeci. And they were quartet groups, 4 people in the group. I'm just talking about the main R&B joints, you know what I mean? So they were the groups that we idolized, you know, speaking for myself, they were definitely the ones that I idolized, and we were trying to pattern ourselves after them. So a 2-man group was definitely not in the picture for us. We was looking for somebody else so that we can harmonize, you know what I mean? 2-part harmony is good, but it ain't nothing like some 3-part or 4-part harmony, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what we were trying to do, and it's not until we ran into a good friend of ours from Baltimore, a local hometown hero, in my opinion. Like, he was like the man, but he was actually a part of the second coming of Drew Hill. His name is Scola De Niro. And if you're familiar with Scola, he's actually he was from Baltimore, and he's actually from our neighborhood where we grew up. And we was on the corner, I think, of Emerson and Monroe, or Emerson and Franklin, or no, Franklin and Monroe. He said, look, I know it ain't working out with the other groups or whatever, but look, forget them other guys, man. Look, y'all can just roll with y'all 2 because y'all from around the way, y'all can sing, everybody love y'all, like y'all just got something special. And that conversation with him, and we really looked up to him as well, man. So that conversation with him really kind of, I think that was the beginning of Ruff Endz without even the name Ruff Endz. We didn't have the name yet, but that was the beginning of us being a 2-man group.
Okay. So how did the deal with Epic Records come into play?
Well, we figured out that we wasn't going to get signed from Baltimore. You know what I mean? It was like we done exhausted every possible avenue that we could. Like, so we started taking meetings and dealing with people out of town as much as we could. A great friend of ours, Stephanie Cook, who's an incredible writer and she has some club records out overseas. She always kept us at you know, on her lips when she ran into people. Oh, my brothers from Baltimore, some singing foes. She has that country twang. It's some singing foes. Them foes, singing foes. That's how she used to talk. So, you know, I could just hear now talking to people like, oh, my brothers can sing. You need to get them. So, make a long story short, she was working with a guy named O.G. Pierce, which is the guy that got Martell Jordan his deal and wrote This Is How We Do It. When he said, okay. OG's got the flavor, yeah, how we do it. All right, yeah. So, shout out to O.G. Pierce, man, and Martell Jordan. So we met him down in Silver Spring, got his mom van at the time, taped the windows up, because I think it was raining and one of the windows is messed up.
The Blue Ghost. Look, anytime you name a car called a Blue Ghost, you know it was one of them cars, you know what I mean? The window was out on that drink. This brother put some plastic, like a trash bag on that thing, and you know what I mean? He covered that baby, and it was a cold, cold day.
Boy, we got down there, though. So we got down there and hollered at OG. That started the beginning of a beautiful relationship of creating creativity. So we put together our album. He actually brought us out to Cali for the first time. We went out there and was writing songs every day and making lemonade off of the lemons off the palm of the lemonade tree in the back.
Yeah,
like, it was crazy. So make a long story short, He took us to like 2 labels. The second label, and that day he took us to was Sony Epic. He basically sent the stuff to Ron Grant and Dave McPherson, 2 incredible guys who took a chance on us and believed in us. So that was basically it. Shout out to OG. Shout out to Sony Epic, man.
So when you released your first single, did you ever imagine that that particular single would turn into a it started off as a hit, but then it turned to be an anthem? So what inspired that on that track, No More?
Wow. Well, that was actually the last song on the album that we recorded. So to give you some perspective, we got our deal in 99 and we recorded all of 1999, and our album didn't come out until the summer of 2000. You know what I mean? So it was a long time. So when we thought we were done, we thought we was done. It was like we was recording for a long time, and it was like, well, y'all got to go back in there one more time.
Yeah.
It's a producer named Eddie F. Darren Lighty, they did a bunch of stuff for Donnell Jones and you name it. A lot of the artists that had that same No More sound, you know, that track, that beat. There was a lot of other R&B records that had that same kind of tempo. And so we was like, all right, let's do it. And we went in the studio with him. And by this time, just to paint the picture, it was 3 o'clock in the morning when we recorded the vocals.
Oh, wow.
So it was 3 a.m. vocals. The song wasn't a song like a traditional R&B love song. It was like an up-tempo, and we were just kind of cruising on the song. You know, baby, relax, sit back and chill. Just give me a second and let me tell you how I feel. All around town, you've been stepping out, running your mouth about. That ain't really saying it. You know, we just talking. It's rapping really was what we doing. So we was like, it was cool, but we couldn't wait to get to the singing songs. You know what I mean? So when the song, after we recorded the record, that next week on Monday, we had to be at the Sony building in New York. And when we got up to, I think, the 21st floor, whatever floor it was, we got off the elevators. And as soon as we got off the elevators, we were walking down these long hallway. And at the end of the hallway is David McPherson's hallway, which is the guy that signed us. He's the big dog over there. As we're walking down the hallway, all of the offices is playing No More Shopping Sprees. The interns, the promo directors, the radio director, I mean, you name it, everybody was banging it. Our publicists, they was like, oh my God, we've got the single. And we were like, we were happy, but it was like, okay, you know, so we didn't think it was going to do big as it was. We just thought it was going to do good to kind of get us in the door to get to that another song, you know what I mean? But actually, No More was the one, man. No More was, they had sight beyond sight, as I would say. And they saw what we couldn't see, man.
Sight beyond sight.
Sight beyond sight.
So 20 years later, there's TikTok, and now you guys are trending on TikTok. So how does that feel?
Man. Look, hey, listen, check this out. Shout out to our fans from day one. New fans, definitely welcome. Much love to y'all. Man, listen, when you got somebody like Snoop, shout out to Uncle Snoop, man. What up, cuz? Listen, Snoop goes on his live, sitting in his house at his computer, and start banging No More. Back, like, I think he played it like twice. Singing, smoking, talking about Lil Duval. Yeah, look. Lil Duval need to do that part right there. Come on, man. Come on, man. Shout out to the living legend Snoop, man, for getting that thing started in the pandemic. Shout out to Teddy Riley, because he put up something too. He put up a text, like a post.
And said COVID-19 got us like no more shopping sprees, and that went viral on the Shade Room. It was crazy.
Come on, man. That's love, man. That makes you feel the gratitude.
We couldn't foresee that, you know what I mean? So
5-year-olds on TikTok.
Exactly.
Wasn't even thought of when the song came out.
Right.
Dance routine in his living room to No More Shopping Spree. Like, come on, man. That gotta make you smile.
One thing that I will say about your music does not sound outdated. So it still sounds relevant. So once it went viral, I'm sure these new age baby boomers thought, oh, this is a new song. It's a new song because it sounds so fresh.
Wow, man.
That's crazy. I ain't never think about it like that. But that's great. I'm glad you put it like that because I was like, God damn.
Right. And then a whole lot of artists, they really don't surpass the sophomore jinx. But you guys surpassed that when you released your sophomore album. And the single, Someone to Love You, that became a love anthem. So what was the pressure in the studio? Like, okay, we have to make the second album better than the first because we have to pass the sophomore jinx.
Well, I mean, for us, it really wasn't, you know, being with a label and having A&Rs and that and a whole team, you know, the pressure of that wasn't as much for me. You know, I was kind of just trying to fulfill my duties being on the label. That's kind of what I was for. They were like, all right, y'all got to do this. We were like, all right. And of course, there was some stress of trying to at least come up with something great. But I never, you know, I'm the type of artist, I like music and I like different kinds of music. And No More represents the group, but it's only one side of who Ruff Endz is. You know what I mean? So Someone to Love You is the other side of who we are. You know what I mean? And Someone to Love You is kind of that ballad that I was talking about that we was trying to get to. That's the song, you know what I mean? And then, I would say we are very diverse as a group. And, you know, for me, we weren't really trying to outdo No More. We were just trying to get to something else that they would love, you know what I mean? To really create a nice catalog, if you will, for our fans.
Okay. And you guys released the final chapter. Did that have to do with Epic Records in 2003? With you guys parting ways?
Yeah, basically. I know it's people was like, how they release a greatest hits album? Right. So it definitely was something we never experienced before. I think it was like the what do you call the word? They was revamping the company basically. Like a lot of people was losing their jobs over there. A lot of people was getting fired. So I guess we were a part of that transition. So, but at the same time, it was like another door opening. You know, it was like one door closing and another door opening. Most people at the time, you can't see it. It doesn't look like that. You know, it doesn't. It just feels terrible. You feel me? But it definitely put us, I would say it put us in a better space to grow. You know what I'm saying? So, hey.
Okay. And after that, you guys took a break, but then in 2016, you came back together in your hometown for an Injustice concert, and you guys released a Time for Change. So how was that experience like?
Well, Time for Change actually was the song that represents us getting back together. Because when we got back together, Freddie Gray had lost his life. A lot of people was losing their lives, you know, due to racial injustice and stuff like that. So how we got back together was just, you know, amazing. Like literally it was divine connection, you know, because I hadn't talked to him in years. Dante hadn't seen me in years, but at this time Dante was doing shows with another guy from our hometown that was, you know, filling in, doing my part or whatever, and they were doing shows, you know what I mean? Because people still wanted to hear Ruff Endz and still wanted to hear No More Shopping Sprees and Someone to Love You. But after one of the shows, Dante was actually talking to this girl on the phone. And let me explain the scene. He is in an area of Baltimore where there's a lot of Jewish people. It's called Pikesville, Maryland, and it's the Sabbath. So they're walking throughout the streets of Baltimore, like in this area. And so I'm not expecting to see Dante in the middle of, you know what I mean? And this is a day where he actually is walking today. He doesn't never walk in this area, you know what I mean? So he's actually deciding to walk. It's a nice day outside. So he's walking outside as well, and he's not by the street. He's like kind of far, like off the street. You know what I mean? But I'm in the car and I'm actually talking about Dante, and I'm talking about, like, you know, memories of us, you know, because he's like still like my brother, you know what I mean? So I'm like, man, every time I turn around, you know, I see Dante everywhere I go. I see a man over there look like Dante. I turn the corner and I'm like, see that guy over there? This guy even look like Dante. Now, when I said that, it was actually Dante. You know what I mean? Now let's switch over to him. He's on the phone. He just did a show like the night before, or 2 days ago, whatever. And the girl that was at the show was telling him, look, other guy, he can sing and everything, but you got to get your man back in the group, y'all. Like, y'all got to work it out. Y'all got to get back together, because, you know, y'all two different animals on stage, and this is at the same time. So switch back to me. I'm like, that's Dante. You know what I mean? When I said that's Dante, that was actually Dante. And when I realized it was him, I pulled the car over. I didn't even really park the car. I just pulled over. And I got up the car and I started running towards him. Switching back to Dante, he's on the phone with the girl like, oh my God, hold up. As you're talking to me right now, David is running over here to me right now like a scene out of a movie or something. You know what I mean? And that was it. When we realized that and we talked, that we was actually talking about each other at the same time, like, that's freaky. And we got back together, and the first song we did was "Time for Change," and for our city. So that's kind of how we got restarted. You know what I mean? The engines got revved up again. You know what I mean?
The engines back cranking.
So you're back with Rebirth. So how did it feel like getting back in the studio and creating magic again?
Definitely, it felt good. It felt good, definitely. When we got back in our groove, we got all of the extra stuff out the way. Because a lot of the times for artists, for creators, it's dealing with the outside world, I would say, like everyday life, you know, kids, house, stuff, you know, because you can get into music and literally be in it for days, like forget about hours, like. So how some relationships don't work when you're creators. They don't understand them hours. Them hours is just special when you create, when you're doing your thing, when you're in the studio. So it definitely felt really good. It felt like, you know, a missing piece of the puzzle, having it back, just to be creating music together at that level, and with purpose, you know, not just writing. Because as a writer, you could just write every day, just to be writing, just to stay sharp. But when you're writing for a project, when you're writing when you got a deal on the table, or you got a situation, management, like, your purpose is taking on a whole new meaning. Feel me? Shout out to SRG University, the new home of R&B, and Terry Harvey. All right, man. Harvey Management. Love y'all, man. Love y'all.
So what direction did you guys decide to go with this album?
I would say the only direction we had was a positive one. You know what I mean? That's kind of, you know, we had and the reason why I say that, because of everything that's happened, like the Time for Change record that we did. Yeah. In that moment, we decided that our platform is going to be used to not be a part of the problem anymore, but be a part of the solution. And we got to love on our people. And we believe that love is the bedrock of a man and a woman getting together that creates an atmosphere for a child and for a family, you know. And when you have broken homes, you have a broken world, and that's just facts, you know what I mean? So our people need to be loved on, and we can't endorse things that tear our community down anymore, you know what I mean? So that was really the conversation we had. So anything that comes out of that is kind of what this album is about, you know. So we kind of focused on love, and that's been our focus, you know.
So, how many tracks can we expect, and are there any features?
We set out to do 10, 11 songs. We got in the groove and came out with 20. So we only put 11 songs on this album. we got some musical features on here, as well as features like a good friend of ours, Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yep.
Oh man, definitely one of my favorite songs. So yeah, we got some special things for y'all.
So what was it about Be the One that made you pick that as a single?
Well, to be honest, Claude Bellini, the CEO over there at SRG, picked all 3 singles, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We was just trying to give them music, you know what I mean, and give them something hot, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we was trying to give them what we give them, you know? And they were like, a lot of people was confused about, really they were confused at first of where to go and what, you know. But over time, they kind of came up with those 3 singles, and they wanted to go with Be the One. Be the One was actually the last song we recorded, just like how No More Shopping Spree was the last song. Be the One was the last song we recorded for this album. And our album was already done. And I sent him Be the One, and he was like, that's going to be the first single. So, yeah, it's the process.
Nice. Hey, so everyone that's watching, to go get the album, it's out today. So what for Ruff Endz?
Say it again?
What's next?
Guys.
Man, we have quite a few things. So
Doc.
just to make it brief, this is the first album of quite a few albums we're about to put out. Definitely with the new situation with SRG. Shout out to SRG, Claude, Rafiq, all the people over there that's just working so hard for us. We appreciate y'all. We got things coming up like our Times Square event tomorrow. We're doing the Times Square. Well,
wow.
our label is doing the event for us in Times Square. Shout out to the label again. We love y'all. Shout out to Terry Harvey. It's a social distancing event. It's celebrating our album release and the release of the new video. We're going to be giving out T-shirts and autographs and all that good stuff. Make sure you bring your mask, all that good stuff. And soundtracks. We got quite a few soundtracks. We've actually been doing soundtracks our whole career. So that's one of those things that's kind of stuck with us. And I know we're going to be doing a lot more coming up soon. Put it like this. Stay logged in to our channel, because some of the stuff is going to be like real spontaneous. Like, we got this coming up. So make sure you stay logged into your official Ruff Endz. Stay checking in, stay tapped in, turn on your notifications, so you'll know when we got something coming up.
We want y'all to go to www.srgstore. For those of you that still love CDs, and like for me, like I still will buy. Like I bought the Jodeci collection on CD, the Boyz II Men collection. Like I'm the old '90s golden era. I got to go get them. I'm getting the collections. You know what I mean? So if you like me that still want a CD for your collection, go to www.srgstore.com and get yourself a CD and also a signed picture of Ruff Endz as well. They're going to send that to you free of charge when you purchase the CD off the www.srgstore.com website. And we have a documentary, our full story that we're going to be getting into, coming from the streets of Baltimore. Like our story has never been told. We got a lot of people that's a part of the Ruff Endz story, like Patti LaBelle, like a lot of different people that we don't get a chance to share and get into. And so that's going to be coming later this year. And we got some live performances online for our fans. And also we're going to be out performing this summer as well, starting in June. We have a performance in Pennsylvania at the Black Expo. Yeah, the Black Expo. So it's a lot coming down the pipe, man. Just stay tuned, stay locked in, and get that new album from Ruff Endz.
We will. So before we wrap up, what would you like to tell your fans that has been there since day one?
We love and appreciate you more than you know. It's easy to get lost. And I'm going to say this to the upcomers, to people that's coming in the game, and people that's in the game, and even some of our living legends. I was talking to a great friend of mine that's been in the industry for as long as us. And one of the main things she said that stuck out to me was, it's so good to talk to you, to remember who I am, because I've just been mommy. I've just been home being mommy. Like, it's you know, you human. It's you know, you don't have your fans loving on you and supporting you. It's very easy to forget how it feels. It's very easy to forget, like, to become complacent, kind of, so to speak. To not really say complacent, because you're definitely supposed to be there with your family, with your kids and stuff like that. But when you're doing that every day and not in that environment, you know, you start feeling it. So I want to say shout out to the fans that stay supporting your favorite artists, groups like Ruff Endz, you know, whether it's Next, whether it's H-Town, or any of the artists on our label, Raheem Devon, Brian McKnight, Vivian Green.
Shout out to Brian McKnight.
Yeah, right. We got a mean squad over there. But I just want to say thanks to the fans for keeping us going. Like, sometimes y'all don't know. Like, y'all probably saved a few of my fellow brothers in the industry's lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people just don't know when you come through with that, oh, your song is my favorite ever, or something, or you never know what that does for the artist sometimes, because this is what we do. This is really what we do.
All we do.
This is what we do. So I just want to say I love and appreciate y'all from now to the future, to the far future, whatever you want to call it.
The real lexicon. Okay, I'm with y'all till the wheels fall off. We love you too, and I'm with you right back. Give y'all love right back. I ain't nothing like that.
No doubt.
Like he said, man, it couldn't be said no better. It's like a basketball game with nobody there. You know what I mean? Imagine playing your whole career and there's nobody. You just playing. You know what I mean? The fans mean everything. You know, and without that support, you know, it's, you know, life is hard. You know, we've overcome things because of our fans. You know, when we heard somebody say, oh my God, I love y'all, y'all should do this, or this song, I got married to this song.
Keep going.
Or keep going, or whatever it was, that was more than what you could ever dream or think of. You know what I mean? And that gave us whatever we needed to overcome, because as musicians, man, you know, we spend a lot of time doing music, but we're still people. We still gotta live our lives and deal with things personally. And not all the time that stuff is together and right. You know what I mean? A lot of the time it's not, you know. So when the fans show us love, it gives us strength to overcome certain things that we got to deal with, so that we can get back to the music. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So appreciate you for having us, brother, on this platform, and we appreciate you for doing this, man, because it's like platforms like yours that help groups like us stay alive and stay relevant and stay connected with our fans.
Oh, and it's an honor, because you guys are legends, and I appreciate you guys taking the time out.
Definitely, man.
Thank you, bro.
So much.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you. Be blessed, my brother.